Good afternoon, Forefront family. I know that so many of us got so much out of our Zoom calls, and so I wondered how we could continue our constant communication throughout this pandemic and even after. And then I thought, why should we wait for a disaster to have the best connectivity ever? So welcome to the first in kind of our audio dialogues, the Forefront 5, a 5-minute plus or minus clip to listen to on the way to work or while cooking or whatever. I hope to have small tidbits that I think are relevant in clinic, in life. I hope to have guests, and I hope it is of interest and useful information, and sometimes maybe just fun and entertaining. For this first episode, I was on a run where I do some of my best thinking, and as I thought about all we have accomplished together in the last 6 weeks, it really seems monumental. Early on in COVID-19, our focus was a little more urgent. We acted with speed and were most focused on life-saving measures. How could we continue to serve our patients and enlist PPE across the entire practice? These were major things that deserved all of our attention. They consumed all of our efforts with the virus task force for the first week or two of COVID-19 because they really were life-saving measures and they allowed us to keep our doors open and serve our patients. I've received notes from staff and patients about how our actions saved lives. We made major moves in a major pandemic, making a major difference. And as each week goes on in this pandemic, our priorities change, our tasks change. Every week presents something different that may be our top priority, something else that needs our attention. That's the focus of this week's Forefront 5, our staff and my approach to staffing during the 19. As the burners cooled around how we behave in this COVID world, it became glaringly obvious that I needed to focus on my staff. My doors were kept open during the 6 weeks, but with reduced hours, which is a major issue for many of my nurses who are single moms or sole supporters of their households. I wanted to make sure they were taken care of, especially if they were continuing to work. I've received a lot of emails and calls from you guys that you're facing the same conundrum and question. In a world where unemployment seems to be the most attractive option, how do we incentivize our staff to continue working? The weekly federal unemployment benefit offered during the last recession in 2009 was $25 a week. This time it's $600 a week, which is 24 times that in 2009, which is mind-blowing to me. And so now with the federal stimulus weekly and state unemployment weekly, we must have a plan. So here's our approach in Manitowoc. I knew I only had a set amount of hours for my employees, and instead of scheduling one MA with all of the hours one week and a dismal amount the next, I decided to even them out across staff each week. We took a measured approach to keep people's schedules more consistent, and in doing so, we accomplished a few things. Number one, pride in work. The staff feel good about coming to work, enjoying camaraderie. They feel like they have job stability, like if they're working now, they will probably continue working with a job on the other side of this. Number two, while we kept people employed, we got them some hours each week, and then they were able to apply for part-time unemployment dollars, which is never a guarantee, by the way, but my staff did, in fact, receive these dollars. So they received their check from Forefront for working hard for us, their unemployment check from the state, and their $600 incentive from the federal government. Number three, they're getting benefits covered by Forefront physicians, which is amazing, and we remind them of it. And number four, we're having fun while at the office and enjoying different treats and fun activities. So this has been a real win and staff morale booster. Financially, it's a win for them, and it makes sense. Some hours from Forefront, the deserved part-time state unemployment if they qualify, and the federal stimulus dollars at work, once again, if qualified. So these folks are actually earning more working than their counterparts staying at home, and they're actually working less hours and some making more than the pre-COVID world. So for us, this approach has solved so many issues and is working. But if you're sitting there and saying you did it wrong, it's not too late. Some of my colleagues are actually unfurloughing some of their staff to right-size their clinic. So work with myself and your regional manager and human resources to see what works in your clinic and your state. We're arming the regional managers with rules across states as to who and what qualify for unemployment to try to help you. So look for some fun ways to boost staff morale in our upcoming newsletter. We'd love you to share what you're doing for your staff. And I hope you enjoyed this first edition of the Forefront 5. Stay strong and brave and keep the faith.